5 years. It's been 5 years since Steve released in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In fact, it's been 5 years, 1 month, 27 days, 6 hours, 43 minutes, and 11 seconds. 12 seconds. 13. It may be an understatement to say that this character has been quite strong.
Donkey Kong just needs a couple more hits with the back air.
At what point do we do something? I want to explain why this character is so powerful, because to somebody from the outside looking in, he might just seem like another jolly character. He is not that. So first I'd like to talk a little bit about why I think that this character is so strong. But before I do, it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy the content. It's completely free and it shows me that you enjoy, and only 5% of the people watching me are subscribed and 95% of you guys aren't. So it would really be a super cool thing if you would, and also feel free to consider becoming a channel member. You know, it just helps support me a lot, and you do get a variety of cool perks such as these sick badges that I'll put over the screen right now. And also shout outs like to my tier 2 member Wally Winker. Shout out to you. Your support means everything to me. But enough yapping, let me get back to the topic at hand. So we can't really talk about the overtuned aspects of Steve without mentioning maybe his most distinguishing quality, the blocks. With blocks, Steve really becomes the only character in the game to pretty much completely be able to shape the environment of any battlefield to whatever he would like for it to be, and there hasn't been something like this in the past. He can use blocks to build walls to prevent his opponent from approaching, which is overpowered, not to mention just boring to watch. And also he can use blocks to block off the stage so his opponent is unable to recover. This is not to mention the fact that he can place blocks in the air, which he can't even do in Minecraft, no matter if he's in survival or creative mode. And he can even use smash attacks and shield while he's on these aerial blocks. And he can even do whatever this is.
Oh, it's a... Wow, what happened? The block's not there, but he's standing on something.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to call that, but it definitely isn't a good thing. Another thing that must be mentioned about what makes Steve so crazy is the fact that he has these materials. The longer that Steve mines, the more he can get these materials, which can then be used to craft different tools. And he begins with a wood tool set, which, don't get me wrong, can still achieve very high damaging combos, and can level all the way up to diamond, which can take stocks insanely early off of combos that, if we're being honest, a 5-year-old could perform. Also, one of these materials he can get is iron, which can be so crazy. If it wasn't bad enough that he can keep crafting these new tool sets, he also unlocks moves like the minecart and the anvil, which he can use to extremely little risk, however to extremely high reward. Because if a minecart hits you or the anvil hits you, you may just lose your stock at a certain percent, and if you try to shield the minecart, you will be put into a grab animation where he can now close your stock even earlier. And if you try to shield the anvil, well, this happens. All of the reasons that I mentioned thus far, and about 750,000 others that I've had to leave out of this video, have catapulted Steve not only to the top of the tier list, but also to the top of the brackets and the rankings, with 5 of the top 15 ranked players in the world on the most recent ranking season having Steve listed as one of the players or characters that they play in tournament. That means 33% of the top 15 players in the world play Steve. That's kind of crazy. From the character being extremely dominant at a local level to winning the biggest tournament in the history of the game, and pretty much all big tournaments that have happened have at least had a Steve somewhere toward the top of it. With Steve being so dominant throughout the meta, persisting in all levels of competition, and being so popular to a degree that no character is even ever rivaled, as well as the fact that there's so much tech out there that Steve players are able to implement and haven't even really moved forward with yet, and so many strategies that they could refine that they really could make the character far stronger than he even is. It's pretty clear to say the community wasn't really overestimating this character, and he's definitely quite strong, which begs an interesting question. What have we done to combat this? Nothing. Which begs an interesting question. Why haven't we done anything about this? And the answer is a little bit more complex. When Super Smash Con 2022 was won by one of the many Steve players, which I will not name, there was a joint effort by many of the top players in order to get this character banned, somewhat ironically, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out it didn't work. There have also been a series of tournaments by tournament organizer Max Ketchum, such as the Let's Make Moves series or the Let's Make Moves Miami series, that have historically had Steve banned at certain entries of these tournaments. However, as of late, there have been complications. This takes us to the modern day, where Max Ketchum actually did announce that at Let's Make Big Moves, there would be a no crafting rule at this event where you can play Steve, you just can't craft anything, right? You can play Steve. And, you know, a lot of people were very excited about this. A lot of people don't like Steve. So it was looking like for the first tournament, Let's Make Big Moves, to really kick off 2026 Smash, we would be maybe starting in a more positive direction, kicking out a character that a lot of people don't feel so positively about. But, of course, something had to go awry, because we did get the call from the Big N, Nintendo, and it's seeming like that's not going to be possible, because they said, you better let him craft there. And so now we're stuck in this weird position where Steve is going to be at that tournament. I do have the unique ability to see the future, and I can even project it into my videos. So this is actually what the grand finals are going to look like at Let's Make Big Moves in January. Oh, I'm projecting it to you. There it is. This is what the grand finals will be at Let's Make Big Moves in January. And I guess watching this is like, okay, that's cool. You know, I love Steve too. It's just sometimes I want to break from the character, you know.
Want to break from the ads?
Sometimes I want to break from the blocks, just, or at least the crafting, right? So where are we now? Well, every person with working brain cells can kind of deduce that this character is the best in the game. There maybe were people that doubted the character, you know, years back, but they've all been lost to time like the dinosaurs. And we're only left with people that kind of all acknowledge that this character is clearly very good, but there's also not another patch coming from Nintendo. Actually, some people do refute this because Animal Crossing did just get a random patch out of the blue that completely changed the game and made it a lot better for the player base. So people like Tweak on Tweak Talks have theorized that Nintendo may release another patch, and they spent a lot of time talking about what they believe Nintendo would do if another patch is to come out for the game.
Let's say there was a patch for Ultimate. What characters do you think we could all agree are like the most likely to get nerfed? Steve, right, is number one. Steve.
But we must also acknowledge that none of this is guaranteed, you know? This is all speculation. And as far as we're aware, we might just have to live with this for a long time. So where does that leave us? The main issue with Steve is that he's not even really playing Smash. He's really playing Minecraft. And there's so many character-specific things that you need to know with your main, of like how they interact with blocks and certain traps he might set up, that it's like every time you're going into a match versus Steve, unless you have so much experience versus the character at a very high level, you're pretty much going in unprepared, which is never a good feeling when you start up a match. The problem with Steve isn't that he's creative, is that he's in creative mode. Is that like a good closing statement? Anyway, those are just my thoughts. At least King K. Rool isn't the best character. It can always get worse. But on a serious note, like, what do you think we do about this? Like, we can't ban the character. I don't think they'll let us. Like, they're gonna sue us. Nintendo's gonna sue us if we ban the character. So, do you have some sort of idea of what we do? I think we just gotta kind of take it, you know? Here's my idea. Everybody starts playing Steve. I lost my mind. I don't know where it's going.
Posted up in the club, it's one on the dot. Traffic, hectic, you in your favorite spot. Whether standing on the wall.
And Ruan, if you can hear me, black K-Rool, please. Thank you. No, he's white. No!
White K-Rool looks good.
No. Black better.
White better.
Okay, this man is a white supremacist.